Warning, if you don't like sarcasm, satire and bad humor, go watch something else. If you're easily offended or need to be politically correct, leave now.
It's July 7, 2021 and Mr. CR is taking delivery of his 2022 Renegade Vienna. Let's listen in now as Joe, from Van City RV, is clarifying the proper use of the many different systems.
So when we fill DEF, preferably fill it at a gas station. After you fill, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your cap and dip it into the washer fluid reservoir. At that point, before you have to mess with this, you're probably going to be on the phone with me. Our Truma Go, which is going to do our heat and our hot water. We just did the video on how to clear any faults on that.
Joe is now explaining to Mr. CR that because the Cummins Onan QD 3200 generator is brand new and not yet broken in, it will be hard to start, smoke like crazy, very noisy, and shake like a Mexican jumping bean. Nothing to worry about.
July 9th, 2 days after I took delivery. When I try to start the generator, it huffs and puffs, then dies. Even the Cummins panel is dead. This unit is scheduled for a mission in 3 days. I call Joe at Van City RV and he says, "A customer just walked in, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. I never heard from Joe again. I can only assume he was abducted by aliens and the planet they took him to doesn't have cell phone service."
Let me back up and explain what a mission is. Mr. CR owns a recording studio. This RV was purchased as a production vehicle. When COVID hit, audio production went way up, film and video went to zero, and you could not rent a hotel room. The studio had lots of equipment that was sitting idle. That's when Mr. CR had a brainwave. A small RV could carry equipment and double as a hotel room. It would need to be reliable. Mercedes Sprinter. Produce electricity. Cummins Onan generator. Plus include a refrigerator, bathroom, bed, and shower. After many weeks of research, the Renegade Vienna was selected. It had added advantages of theater seating for clients, a large counter space for setting up cameras, and a nice refrigerator for keeping adult beverages cold. We now return to our program as Mr. CR is calling Joe because the generator is dead.
Joe is gone. Let's try calling Renegade. Great. An answering machine. I'll leave a message. Let's try calling Cummins Onan. They tell me to call the dealer. This Cummins Onan generator was a $5,000 option and it's dead in my parking lot after 2 days. Time to search the internet for help. Hours later I discovered there is a fuse in the generator. Remove the side panel and replace the fuse. 3 tries later the generator started. I'm going to need spare fuses and a delivery service to keep up my fuse supply. I never heard back from Joe, Renegade or Cummins Onan and it still takes 3, 4, 5 or more tries to get the generator running. I'm beginning to have doubts about this unit. Can I schedule missions with any confidence? Today as I plan for a departure, the auto-leveling system springs a leak. It looks like the Bellagio Hotel fountains in Las Vegas under the vehicle. I phone Renegade, again an answering machine, then I phone Equalizer Systems, a real person answers. One of the seals on a strut failed. They will overnight a replacement at no cost. As I'm cleaning up the spill, I began to wonder the outcome if this had failed during our planned mission next week to film at a helicopter service facility. The generator has blown 5 fuses in the past 21 days and always requires multiple attempts to get it started. After many emails, photos, descriptions and phone calls, Renegade has requested I drive the unit to the Cummins Onan Elkhart repair facility, which is 204 miles away from my location. I have no idea what to expect when I arrive. I meet up with Grover and his people as they lift the unit and begin testing. After a few hours they determine Renegade reversed the fuel send and return during construction. The lines are switched. I hope this was the only issue. Everyone celebrates. Woody, the service master at Renegade, invites me to drive over to their location so Tony can replace the touchpad key system on the entry door that failed prior to me taking delivery. Remember Joe? He was going to send me a new one and I would have to replace it myself. Did you notice my entry door in the last video clip? It looks as though it was fashioned with a ball peen hammer. Every time I take the unit to a client's location, they inquire what happened to my entry door. I always reply with the words from Renegade's website. It's the refined craftsmanship in every detail. After 113 days of emails, photos, and discussions, Renegade's official statement is:
I am told that all of the Dexter doors for that model unit have this same rippling effect in the doors, with some paint accenting it more than others, and has been doing this for a number of years. There is some talk of the vendor, Dexter, making a door with thicker skin in the future. For now, this is how they are, and new doors will not remedy the appearance.
Just one day after the Elkhart trip, the generator blows a fuse, takes multiple tries to start, and is still blowing clouds of smoke. I'm sad to report the fuel lines were not the problem. A call to Renegade and the fun starts. Woody says the problem is now with the Firefly system.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of the Blame Game. We start off this round with Renegade blaming Firefly.
Woody tells me to unscrew the generator panel and cut the white wire. Are you shitting me? I just paid well over $100,000 for this unit and you are telling me to remove panels and cut wires. A few years back I purchased a camera for $30,000. A month later an issue popped up and the very next morning a service tech all the way from Chicago was waiting at the studio to solve the issue. I'm quickly losing my charitable demeanor. I'm about to cut the wire and trying to remember where I first saw this. I think it was on a big truck. I did it. The white wire was cut. And over the next hour Woody had me test different functions. I'm pretty sure he was also talking with Grover over at Cummins Onan. No matter what we tried, the result was always the same, and it was not good. Day 24 and the sun is shining on my new Renegade Vienna. That's when I notice the solar charger has stopped functioning. The Firefly panel display says 0 watts from the Jamboy controller. Another phone call to Woody at Renegade, send him photos, and he says try a reset. I crawl into the bay, find the controller, then take a paperclip and insert into the far side for a reset. It's working again. Over the next few months I notice the controller drops offline on a regular basis. So I've attached a paperclip on the box so it's ready to reset at a moment's notice. The temperature is in the 90s, and we've been filming since early morning. It's mid-afternoon and my clients are on board as we are reviewing footage when the generator up and dies. Without the generator running we have no air conditioning. The inside of the Renegade Vienna quickly becomes an oven. The mission is terminated. Now I'm really pissed. When I return to the studio I write an official request to Renegade and Cummins Onan to have the generator replaced. It's been over 3 weeks of nothing but trouble. The next morning, Woody the service master at Renegade fired back an email telling me to go pound sand, it can be fixed. I did find it interesting he did not offer any remedies to solve the issues in his email. I thought it prudent to cease conversations with Woody since he told me the way things were in his last email. This morning that all changed as we were loading for another mission and the generator started blowing fuel into the parking lot. I quickly grabbed a fire extinguisher. I wasn't concerned with the Renegade Vienna burning up. It was all the camera gear I didn't want to lose. Now the rig was unusable, we had to scrub the mission plan for that day. I contacted the good folks at Scott's RV, an authorized Cummins service center. They had already worked on this unit replacing a pinched generator fuel line and a generator check valve. It would be 4 days before they could get the unit in to look at it. Once there, the technician Nathan had no problem spotting the issue. It would be a full 24 days before Cummins Onan agreed to replace the generator, plus another 14 days until the generator was actually replaced. That's a total of 37 days. This morning as I was getting ready for today's mission, I noticed the coach battery level was at 42%. The unit had been attached to shore power overnight. How could this happen? I checked all the fuses and breakers along with the inverter charger, no issues. I'll need to contact Woody, the service master at Renegade, for advice. I'm told there is a fuse in the battery box. Unscrew the fixture and replace the fuse. After removing the wiring blocking the fixture, I discover a circuit breaker that has tripped. As I'm lying on the ground wondering what would trip a 250 amp breaker, I notice a wire dangling by the doorsteps and another wire hanging under the rear bumper. I also thought about the door seal on the refrigerator. I also continue to wonder what really happened to Joe, from Van City RV. It's been 2 months and he hasn't called back. But these questions will have to wait. I need to screw the breaker back to the wall and get on with today's mission. The good people at Scott's RV have replaced the generator. I thought this would be the end of the issues.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! If you have a Cummins Onan generator that was built prior to January 2021, you will not be plagued with these issues. The QD 3200 was changed from a manual control generator to an electronic control unit in January of 2021. It now suffers from software issues.
Turns out this unit was louder and just as hard to get started. When I contacted Cummins Onan, my case was upgraded to a level 3 priority. That's the top of the food chain. This mission takes us to Buena Vista, Colorado. It's a truly beautiful location. We're filming a number of interviews. The day before departure, as the Vienna is loaded, we discover there is no water pressure. The water pump has failed and we are leaving on a 7-day mission the next morning. I quickly visit the local Camping World. Good news, they have a replacement water pump in stock. That night I replace the water pump and send an email to Woody, the service master at Renegade, wondering if this is covered under warranty. He replies that it is covered, but he doesn't pay retail for these items. I'm guessing by this point I've become a real pain in the ass for Woody. Cummins Onan asked me to bring it to their facility in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. This will be the 6th trip for service on the generator issue. They want it for 2 days, so I am now paying for a hotel. Once I arrive, I meet with 2 wizards, the best techs in their organization for this generator. After 2 days, the wizards sit me down and tell me the fuel input line is drawing air. So they replace the fuel line. The issue must be the Mercedes Sprinter fuel pump allowing air into the system. They bid me farewell. There is nothing more they can do. The Renegade Vienna needs to visit a Mercedes Sprinter facility for a new fuel pump. As I'm driving home, I make the call. I've owned many Mercedes vehicles over the years and enjoy an excellent relationship with the head of the Mercedes service department. When I arrived at the Mercedes Sprinter facility, I am quickly greeted, given a loaner vehicle and sent along my way. The Renegade Vienna is put up and the fuel tank removed. It was at that point I received the call.
The fuel lines are backwards. Yes, they are reversed.
I've never questioned the Mercedes technicians, but this time I did. They assured me the fuel lines were incorrect. They had 3 different technicians review the schematic, tank and fuel lines. I was then advised there were no issues with the fuel pump. The tank was put back in the vehicle and I was told the generator started right up and ran smooth without excessive smoke. I picked up the Vienna the next day and returned to the studio.
What an exciting show this week. We started with Renegade blaming Cummins, then Cummins blamed Renegade, then Renegade blames Firefly, Firefly updates software, now it's Renegade's fault again, so they blame Cummins, but Cummins then blames Mercedes. So who wins this week's blame game?
It all started with the government. Don't you just love a surprise ending? Hello everyone, I'm the real CR. The EPA changed the rules for diesel generators, and Cummins Onan then changed their QD 3200 from a mechanical control to software controlled. Since January of 2021, Cummins Onan has been manufacturing and providing the new version of the QD 3200 generator to the RV industry. Turns out there are issues with the software controlled. A new version of the software was released in July. In order to update the software in the QD 3200s that are already in the RV, the generator needs to be removed from the RV, placed on a bench, and the circuits or chips are then flashed with new software. You might call it a brain transplant. Each generator update requires the RV to be driven to the service center, then the update takes a couple of hours. With thousands of these generators already in RVs, well, now you get the big picture. You can draw your own conclusions. My generator problems were compounded when they reversed the fuel lines at the Cummins service center during the first visit. The generator in my rig has now been replaced, fuel lines corrected, and updated with revised software. Will it work? Only time will tell. If you enjoyed this film, make sure you share it with your RV friends that enjoy a bit of sarcasm, satire, and bad humor. Also, click the like and subscribe button. It's time to end, so remember what I always say. Life is good. Treat every day as an adventure.
Wait a minute. You never say that.